every presenter who sent me their script, which was good, I gave them 1 or 2 suggestions. They sent back the script based on my advice. And then what we'll be hearing is their version 2 that we are putting under the magnifying glass. So Valerie, are you there? You are going to set up and introduce our speakers.
DarLisa L. Meaders. It's been too long. It's been too long. DarLisa L. Meaders.
Have you ever experienced being in a traffic jam? No matter what form of transportation you take to get to your destination, you may know how it feels to be stuck in traffic. I know I'm not the only person who thinks to myself, it's been too long. Tom Anderson's 2016 CNBC article about how much time is spent in traffic each year said that 86% of American workers commute by car every day. Drivers spend 25.7 minutes driving to work and lose an average of 42 hours a year stuck in traffic. Commuters waste a full week in traffic. Who would have thought that? A traffic jam is an unexpected circumstance or situation that has the potential to impact your travel or progress. Would it interest you to know that life is like a traffic jam? It can be frustrating, discouraging, disappointing, hopeless, scary, and so much more. It sometimes affects your whole outlook on life. I've experienced my share of traffic jams, literal and metaphorical, like a few fender benders, loss of loved ones, financial difficulties, and even divorce. But I've made it through those traffic jams stronger and wiser than before. You are not the only person who is stuck in a traffic jam. Someone out there is experiencing the same thing that you are. It's easy to become impatient, anxious, frustrated, but when you feel like this, it's sometimes because life isn't going the way you planned. But remember where you've come from and where you want to go. Whatever you do, don't lose momentum. You have to keep moving forward, inch by inch, meter by meter, mile by mile, because there is no obstacle, situation, or traffic jam that you can't handle. Use the resources around you and the support of your family, friends, positive peers, teachers, mentors, and counselors to help you make progress. Don't be afraid to ask for help in accomplishing your goals, no matter what those goals may be. Don't lose hope because it's been too long. Remember that traffic jams are temporary, and don't let a traffic jam change who you are or where you're going. Thank you.
Very good. And again, great visual behind you to reinforce your message. Very clever. And you have a great personality. I believe what we heard was a little longer than what I received, but let's see what we've done with it. And what I did for it, I looked at the length of words. For example, with Melody, she sent me 531 words. I took it down to 478. With yours, it started as 324. I believe we probably heard more than 324. I just edited out to 38. And whenever you introduce an idea that is a metaphor, you did a good job at carrying it through. That is a lesson for us all. This is what I did with what you sent me the second time. How often have you been stuck in a traffic jam? You know it's frustrating, discouraging, an enormous time waster.
Yes.
It is a time waster. And what I did here is I put my experience, because to me, every part of life is a unit of time. So for me, I thought time waster. So you can have two emotions, frustrating and discouraging, and a very practical. So it's a matter of emotional and intellectual connection with your audience there. Usually the experience ruins your whole outlook on life. I know I'm not the only one who has sat alone in my car and screamed, "Ah!" In Tom Anderson's 2016 CNBC article, he wrote.
Good.
All right. And I love statistics, as you know. Every year, 86% of American workers commute daily by car. Drivers spend 25.7 minutes driving to work and lose an average of 42 hours a year stuck in traffic. Every year, commuters waste a full week. Sometimes it feels much more. A traffic jam is an unexpected circumstance that has the potential to impact your travel or progress. Perhaps you agree. That's bringing in the audience. Perhaps you agree. Often life is very much like a traffic jam. You are not alone. I am honest enough to admit I've experienced more of my share of traffic jams, literal and metaphorical. Just like a fender bender, the loss of loved ones, financial difficulties, and divorce can be frustrating, discouraging, and if we spend time focusing on what we can't change, an enormous time waster. So again, that is where I am bringing back the same emotional and intellectual thought, taking your literal to your metaphorical experience. Now we're giving people hope. Fortunately, I've made it through those traffic jams stronger and wiser. It's easy to become impatient, anxious, and frustrated when you feel as if your life is not going the way you planned. Often circumstances are discouraging, disappointing, and frustrating. From my own experience, now see if you like this to put in, from my own experience, the best advice I can give you is give yourself permission to feel discouraged.
Oh, that's good.
For 25.7 minutes. Because that's the daily amount that the commuter is spending in the car. So if we're going through tough times, I think we have to give ourselves permission. Be upset for 25.7 minutes. Okay. Then focus on where you want to drive next. Don't lose momentum. When you are in a literal or metaphorical traffic jam, turn on the radio and sing. Listen to an inspirational self-help CD. Yep. Call one of your biggest cheerleaders and tell them, remind me how great you think I am. Don't let any traffic jam change who you are or where you're headed for.
That was awesome. Thank you for those that feedback. I can use it for my future speeches. This is like a basis for a lot of the speeches that I tailor for different organizations and events that I attend. Good. And because you have to give people hope. And we know you lived through tough challenges, but you really didn't tell us how. So that's why and you really, in 3 minutes, it's difficult too. But the idea is you can't introduce ideas that you can't develop. Now, in all fairness, we give you a short period of time to set this up. What I added, you would add your own advice. I believe, give people permission to feel the way they do.
for 25.7 minutes, which is why it was so good. That was one of my interesting statistics or little known facts that you gave us, which make my eyes water and my toes tingle. I like them so much. And then it's very simple to give practical life, like singing out loud. And in Toastmasters, part of the value is that we have a support system. And it's very practical to be able to say, hey, I'm feeling really down. Can you remind me what you said last year when I just won a speech contest? Remind me how good I am. So that is just practical advice. And for me, I know sometimes, I know I'm not the only one who swears at drivers. Now I resist giving them a bad gesture in case the road rage takes over. But I know you do feel like, get a move on. Why didn't I turn off when I saw the traffic back up? So in one word, the goal is to communicate more than the amount of time it takes to say it.
Okay.
Good. So you have a good speech. So hopefully these tweaks will inspire you to make it even better. And of course, the rewrites of all our brave participants, I will send to them at the end of this session. Good. Wonderful. Great job.
Thanks.
Very good. And again, let's acknowledge how tough it is for our participants to be this open. So congratulations, both of you so far, and the other two I know we're going to hear from, for your bravery as well as your talent and delivery.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Okay.